New dog.
We better not be doing any of that now.
What, I said I'd buy you a new dog.
That doesn't help with any of the connections or attachments I have with this little fluff, and losing that, so... Like, what? Oh, you baby. You baby.
You're lucky he loves you. He
You
won't
sweet,
let me put a cap in your ass.
you sweet little baby. Oh.
He's like, don't put a cap in my ass.
Just a little sweet boy.
Alright, I'm out of here. I got a long walk ahead.
Sweet, sweet boys. Leaving out?
Yeah.
Alright.
I'm gonna get the fuck out of here before it gets too much later.
And it's a little too colder?
The cold doesn't bother me that much. You forget, I used to work at a freezer.
Yeah, true. Cool. It's like a dog.
Suck it, dog.
I don't know.
Guns. I'll never understand them.
So what do you mean? What was that supposed to make?
I mean, I just don't get it. Well, I guess people get hard-ons for guns like I get hard-ons for cars.
I mean, I don't get a hard-on for the shit.
Oh, I know. You're not rocking a fucking stiffy right now? Yeah. That's just gorgeous. Beautiful long piece of metal. You're not getting a hard-on? Liar. Lies. Lies.
Uh-huh, sure.
You know you take that shit in your room at night. You take that shit in your room, take your lube, and you start playing with your junk. You're like, oh yeah,
my
baby.
God.
I fucking love this gun. Yeah. Fuck yes.
Jesus Christ.
Where'd that cigarette go?
Well, now you're dropping things. Smart. GG. GG.
The dog will get secondhand cancer.
All thanks to you just dropping it and letting the smoke rise to his face. Now he has exactly 5 years taken off of his life. Congratulations.
You gotta add another 2 to that because we took him in a pot store.
If anything, that probably gained 2 years on his life.
How the fuck does that gain 2 years?
Because of all the good tinctures and smells that, you know, are good
Wait,
aromas.
I wonder if you can make, like, treats for dogs.
Yeah.
No, like weed treats.
Yeah, like CBD treats and shit. Yeah.
You can give your dogs CBD treats?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, I didn't know that.
Yeah, like little CBD stuff and things like that, yeah.
That's kind of interesting.
Oh, look at you.
He's like, take me on another walk, even though we just got back.
I know. It's like we just got back and now you're looking at me like, I want another walk, I want more attention.
Alright, catch you tomorrow.
Alright, 0 on, man. Oh shit, the bike talk. Only for a little bit. I like how he just left and you just got here. But yeah, he was hanging out for a little bit. Oh, little Zukov, you sweet baby. Yes. You're a sweet handsome one. Yes, you is. Growing projection yet again. Book man advocates faces felony child. What? What's this? LGBTQ bookman proponent faces felony childhood molestation charge in Missouri. Man tried off the award-winning graphic memoir Fun Home, among other LGBTQ titles, removed from the school libraries in Kansas City. Oh my god, of course. Missouri man who sought to ban book schools for social context now facing felony secondary child molestation because, of course, you know, the LGBT are all about trying to get, you know, pedophilia in, you know, because that's totally what the gay agenda is about, but yet this fucking pedophilic freak, you know, is actually sexually assaulting children. Of course, there's, you know, that type of projection. Wow. Of course, there's some dumbass in the comments calling more bans they're offended by some sort of pure comic book. A comic, like a porno comic book. Oh my god, who gives a fuck? It's just, hey, Zukov. It's just fucking, like, it, oh my god, I hate it. I hate this song, it sucks. Hey, no, hey, stop with the fucking bomb at me. Yeah, he just left. Yeah, you can't join him. Jeez. You can't always, like, join him every single damn time, like, someone leaves, and you can't follow him, and you can't, like, harass me thinking that I'm gonna fucking, like, get you out there or whatever. To join in on whatever people are doing. I suppose if you want to see your sister and your brother, I want to be against that, but that'd have to be a scheduled thing. You can't just do that on the spur of the moment, bro. Silly thing. But, yeah, honestly, all in all, I'm not surprised that there's a lot of this, you know, in the comments, they're like, oh, even though one of our own was, you know, caught doing a bunch of pedophilic bullshit, you know, I'm still going to actually be 100% okay with that, of the bannings and stuff like that, because I'm just going to, you know, casually just look over, you know, this other bullshit. We're just kind of casually look over one of our own as kind of a pedo. He's trying to leave, we need to stop him. Zukavo. I mean, for real, though, it's like, stop him! I don't want him leaving! No! He's still fucking all like, where'd he go? I want to try to find him again. No. No. Silly little thing. Just a sweet, silly little boy. So I don't know if you follow the Secular Talk subreddit, Rip, but there's like a comment on there that was just like, I don't know what, you know, like, what is up with, like, Vosh's community, but they've been, like, hyper, like, pro-war and, like, and all that shit lately, and it's like, yeah, I mean, a little bit, and I, you know, was actually making a little point about that, too, considering some of the things that he's actually said, especially in the Talk of Kyle, and someone else is just like, one of his sycophants, of course, is just like, oh, well, of course, when, you know, people have things that, you know, they disagree with Vosh on, they just immediately, you know, is just like anti-war. They just, you know, immediately think he's not a leftist. That's just what lefties think. So I could talk a communist pro-war. What? No, they're anti-war. There's somebody who made a post saying why is Vosh's community so pro-war, and had like a whole thing about it. It makes more sense. Yeah. I mean, so, and basically, someone from his, you know, Vosh's community, I'm sure, was just like, oh, every time someone, you know, says he's not actually a leftist on these type of things, it's like, yeah, because you really ain't. Like, he's like a suck dumb at best at this point, considering a lot of his very pro-neocon liberal policies and shit when it comes to American exceptionalism. Like, there's been something about Biden that basically has just made him, like, a fucking total neolib style, like, you know, philosophizer or some shit, a grandstander, when it comes to, like, leftist thought. It's like, bruh. And his sycophants are probably honestly even more dumber than him. Because they honestly take so much of his word as fucking gospel. Both sides bad. Stop sucking up to Russia. Europe's problem. US needs to stay out of it. Pretty much. It's about as far as it should be taken. I just still get it, you know, I still just get shit like, you know, what we're gonna do about the Russian question, my guy. And basically just like, yeah, we need to literally, like, starve Russia into submission and shit like that and make them obedient and compliant. And shit like this. Like, what type of fucking dick... It's like, was this quote by Dick Cheney or Vosh? It's just like, what the fuck? Some lefties you must be, then. He's also located in General Region. Yeah. Richard Voss Cheney the Fourth. Richard Voss Chevy the Fourth, dude. Yeah. I mean, it's like, honestly, even like if Vosh wasn't like so like rhetorically like we need to put him in submission, what we can do about the Russian question, blah blah blah, and all this shit, I probably wouldn't have such a big deal about it. Or at least I wouldn't stick in my craw as much, honestly, when it comes to these type of fucking ideas. Because, like, it's not, you know, implying that we the, you know, the good guy Americans, the superheroes of the world, you know, have to come in there and save everyone's life and save everybody's day and shit, basically. It's like, fuck that. It's like, I mean, I'm just, you know, I'm really sick of that type of fucking culture and shit that's, you know, predicated amongst, you know, not just in America, but even in some of the zeitgeists of a lot of different European countries where they feel like they have to, like, you know, come to us and beckon for aid. Because they, you know, I guess they're too, like, weak to handle themselves. Or, you know, have, you know, their own, like, regional coalitions and shit. Like, oh, the big boy America has to save the day. But, of course, you know, the U.S. has kind of done that to themselves. Unfortunately. Of course, you know, for purposeful reasons. Let's see. If you strip what's this? If you strip Superman of his powers, who wins in a sanctioned MMA fight? UFC rules. Batman or Superman? Strip Superman. So probably, you know, the super strength is gone, all that shit. That's actually kind of an interesting question. Though Batman has all of his tech and gadgets that help him, though, but he wouldn't have that either. Well, it doesn't imply anything about him. I'm gonna say Batman, dude. It does, and it, like, honestly, it doesn't imply that he, you know, has, you know, like, no gadgets. Like, it doesn't say anything about that. So if he has his gadgets, he just wins. Superman has powers, but Batman, and he just is just Batman. Yeah, like, I think that's kind of a self-explanatory fight there. So else. Jon Stewart defends Joe Rogan, blasts algorithms. What? Jon Stewart, what are you doing? My boy. Pigs Minneapolis HQ, yeah, 9% of the guys have no knock warrant. Oh wow, color me shocked. It's like, hey, you know, us piggies, you know, we gotta make sure that our no-knock warrants are, you know, just nice and swift and perfectly executed. So we're gonna, you know, knock on a door that's totally not yours, you know, or the suspect, you know, that we're looking for, and just make a victim and just slaughter the shit out of you. Minneapolis is in what? Need to be ruled unconstitutional already. They go against the 4th, 5th, and 2nd Amendments. Yeah. I mean, especially when it comes to the whole, you know, like how there are a lot of states that have kind of the standard ground law and, like, you know, every man's his castle doctrine and shit. Like, when it comes to some states, like, I mean, who's to say that, like, if cops were to have a no-knock warrant, that those people can straight up, you know, just shoot at them, you know, basically thinking they're robbers or something. Counter to have guns so widespread. Yeah, I mean, honestly. I mean, because, like, if you have, like, a no-knock warrant, I mean, like, that also can, like, have, I guess, in a fucked up way, it does have, like, legal precedent to, like, you know, legally kill a cop in self-defense and shit, which, honestly, I do personally think that should be a law anyway, honestly, just all intents and purposes, if it causes the cops acting outside of their fucking judicial bounds and shit, and you're defending your fucking life. You know, it's like, yeah, I'm not inherently, like, against, you know, like, obviously, if you're alive, go for the court shit. Like, that should be a justification. It's like, yeah, there's no reason for you to have been stopped or chased down or nearly killed, and you defend your life as merited. Too many fucking cases, I think, you know, just show this. Whereas if, you know, they had the ability to either defend their fucking life or just absolute totally different protocols were, you know, in place for police and shit, just wouldn't happen. Or both. Totally different protocols, and the legal ability to defend yourself from fucking psychos and shit who, you know, have a badge. I mean, it's just a little fucking ridiculous at this point. I mean, they're, like, considering just, like, the mass, like, you know, various different executions that these cops can just simply get away with. I mean, because honestly, if there was, like, a no-knock, you know, warrant type of shit, you know, it's like, who's to say that, like, they mistake, you know, my house, and I'm thinking there's robbers and shit, and I shoot them. You know, thinking, oh, fuck, you know, there's robbers trying to, you know, steal my shit, and they got guns, and they mean business. You know, so it's just like, you know, that's what's going, that's what's gonna go on for my fucking mind, which just basically means if the cops see me with a gun, they're just gonna shoot me, too. So I'm gonna think, you know, there are a bunch of robbers who are just gonna see me and shoot me, so I'm just gonna shoot right back. You know, so it's just like, it just creates a fucking chaotic, insane scenario that just doesn't need to fucking happen in the first place. But unfortunately, should probably have a legal, you know, mindset of like, well, like, I mean, does one have an actual legal defense to defend themselves for something like this? Because people probably should. They probably should have, you know, the ability to defend themselves legally from it. It's fucking ridiculous. But yet you'd get punished for it even more significantly because you'd be considered a cop killer. It's like, uh-oh. It's like, obviously it shouldn't mean carte blanches go around and shit, but, like, when it comes to fucking, you know, like, the extrajudicial bounds of, like, you know, getting your face kicked in and shit, and, you know, it's like, to me, it's when it comes to, like, fights and, you know, getting attacked and assaulted and shit, you know, all those, you know, rules and premises apply, you know, just as much to the civilian as to anybody else, as far as I'm concerned about it. I mean, especially if it's like a scenario where it's like, alright, is either I, you know, be complacent and die, or I fight for my life and maybe not die. You know, it's just like, I'm gonna pick I'm probably, you know, may still die, but at least, you know, I'm likely to not die as much. I'd rather take my chances of that versus just, you know, lay down and just die anyway. So, it's just fucking ridiculous. I mean, honestly, it would probably take a actual court case of something like that to really change the fucking laws on no-knock warrants, where somebody's like you know, awake and aware in their house, and suddenly cops, you know, bash down on the door with a no-knock warrant, and they think they're robbers and start, you know, shooting at them or something, and like successfully, you know, in a sense, you know, repel like a no-knock warrant raid and shit. It's like by that point, you know, I mean, maybe that will actually, you know, show us like, hey, you know, we hit the wrong house and they, you know, fought back and repelled and shit, you know, thinking that we were a bunch of robbers. Well, maybe we, you know, it's like we kind of had to come, you know, trying to like raid some, you know, person's house that's totally innocent of anything and everything. You know, it's like, obviously he doesn't know that, you know, we're a bunch of, you know, a bunch of fucking pigs and shit until, like, the last fucking second when he sees our corpses on the fucking ground. It's like, like, what, do you think these people are gonna fucking know? Like, there should at least be some legal defense, for, you know, for people like that. And maybe, honestly, we'll have to take a court case like that, you know, for something, you know, to actually change on no-knock warrants, just federally. It shouldn't happen. It shouldn't necessarily have to be a fucking, you know, thing that's thought about, like, oh, you know, it's like, should there be a legal justification or premise in it? It's like, realistically, it really shouldn't, but nonetheless, here we are. Let's see what else I have down on the tube here. That's some dank weed. Let's see here. Smoke Fox host rips AOC and gets the facts dead wrong. Of course.
Spoke to Steve Forbes on Fox Business Network, and they're going to go after AOC here. Now, we're critical of AOC. I think strategically she's a mess. She's weak. I think it's easy to co-opt her. She's kind of naive.
Honestly, AOC kind of sucks.
Not all that. Every now and then she says something that's perfectly reasonable, and then all of right-wing media melts down and attacks her in the most vociferous and absurd way imaginable. Well, there's a perfect example of that right here. So Stuart Varney and Steve Forbes are going to go after her, and let's watch.
Of course, it's Varney.
I'll give you the facts.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez blames corporate America for fueling inflation. I'll give you a quote, Steve. Here it is.
Yeah, I mean, she's not wrong.
There's a real distinction to be made between inflation and price gouging. A lot of these price increases are potentially due to just straight price gouging by corporations. You want to take that on, Steve Forbes?
Well,
you want to take that on, you old slimy bastard, you? Well, I'm giving you a nice virtual cocksuck. Yes. It's like, oh my god. Ew. Like, you want to take, it's just like, you want to take on, you know, what? Like, just the basic reality that fucking mega corporations price gouge and shit. I mean, what? I mean, what? Like, you really gonna try to challenge that? Okay, let's see.
How about gouging taxpayers on your student debts? We'll leave that aside for the moment and go.
Huh? Price gouging taxpayers for their student debts? Huh? Is that implying that, like, student loan debt relief is, like, you know, being price gouged? Because it literally isn't. Like, the taxpayers also happen to go to school, you fucking idiot. Thus, acquire student loans because of that. Shocker.
Price gouging, you may find certain instances of it. When anytime you have inflation, they always look for scapegoats. I've mentioned the Christians in the Roman times. They blame the Christians. They blame witches during medieval times. Now they blame...
Yeah, and they blamed the communists during the 1900s and the 1950s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, and so on and so forth, but we won't mind that either.
price price gouging corporations. No, it's bad government policy. Whether it's the disastrous way they handle supply chains, printing too much money, spending too much money, those are inflicted by the government, not by businesses.
Could not be more smug and could not be more wrong. In fact,
Like, I'm pretty sure printing money would probably actually lessen inflation. Because... okay.
insider.
I mean, it's just like...
corporations are using inflation as an
I mean, it's just like, hey, if you actually, I don't know, make, print more money out and, invest in into actual things that help uplift people and shit, it's like that can actually potentially, I don't know, help deal with the whole inflation issue. Like, I mean, like, just printing more money doesn't, inherently damage the fucking, or impact the fucking issue of inflation. It's usually more or less what you do with it.
and make fatter profits, and it's making the problem worse.
No shit.
That's from Insider. We also have a brilliant piece from Matt Stoller that you can see on the screen right now. Corporate profits drive 60% of inflation increases. Higher prices aren't just a result of supply chain chaos or government spending. Inflation is being driven by the pricing power and higher profits of corporations, costing $2,126 per American. So, let me give you the gist of this. This is how this works. We get a little bit of inflation. The media flips out and covers it nonstop, and then sensationalizes and fearmongers a little bit. Corporations, sensing and realizing that the media is panicking over inflation, then uses the fear of inflation to raise prices and blame inflation even for goods that aren't affected by inflation. Now, me saying, this isn't my opinion.
And then they'll also, like, blame workers and fucking, and consumers and shit for demanding more, wages and more money to help try to accommodate and deal with said inflation. Be like, oh, y'all asking for too much. Y'all need to just, get another job and work, more and pull yourself up by the bootstraps there, bucko.
And it was reported by a number of outlets that these guys themselves would consider reputable outlets. They might not agree with Matt Stoller, because he's a big anti-monopolist and they're pro-monopoly. But the Business Insider report, that's a source that I'm sure they've used previously. So it absolutely is true. But see, they go back to the same boogeyman. As they accuse Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez of doing that, that's what they do. Now, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's boogeyman happens to actually be a boogeyman, and she's correct to point it out. Their boogeyman is nonsense. What's their boogeyman? Oh, big government spending bad. Big government spending bad.
Bad.
We know that the big government spending had nothing to do with inflation, because there's a number of reasons for the inflation. The most important thing is the supply chain crisis. Because of the COVID pandemic, people staying home and ordering more stuff, online. You got, it's a global economy now. Things get shipped in from overseas, and so everything just got clogged up. It also got clogged up because there were lockdowns in other countries. I mean, China has a zero COVID approach, for example. So stuff takes longer to get here. The ports are clogged. They're trying desperately to fix that problem, but they haven't really fixed that problem. And so that's one thing that's leading to inflation. Another thing is, and this is tied to that, you don't have manufacturing in the U.S. So, like, if you built up our manufacturing capacity, then you wouldn't have as much inflation because you wouldn't have the supply chain crisis because of the supply chain.
Like, honestly, building up more fucking manufacturing, creating more, jobs that actually build things here will actually be a legitimate benefit to Curious, the economy, and also these communities, too. And these people can also, get potential good, unionized, paid jobs and shit. But that's just, if our actual paradigm and fucking, system actually would uplift and push and benefit that type of shit as well. I mean, there's a lot of various different things that come into, that play into inflation, but it's so much of it's just primarily, fundamentally, these fucking mega corporations price gouging and shit. And then they got all these, fucking, backlogs on all sorts of different shipping and shit because of various different reasons, whether it's because of the pandemic or not enough truckers, to actually get the shit unloaded and, whatever the fuck.
State next to you. You don't have to go through a clogged port in order to deliver the goods. So there's not enough U.S. manufacturing. That's another part of the problem. Now, notice, the solutions to the problems I just mentioned are what? Leftist policies, like busting up the monopolies and, like, bringing back U.S. manufacturing. They would never admit this because this doesn't fit their political ideology.
Of course not.
And then corporate greed is the other thing, as you know.
Instead of uplifting, the people and the workers and shit in this country, it's just outsource that and, manufacture all that shit overseas and import it here, where there's going to be a bunch of backlogs and all sorts of shit, and it's going to take forever to fucking actually get your things. Yay!
Which is, they're using
because they're not made here
of inflation to then just raise prices and blame inflation, even though it's not inflation. So, they couldn't be more wrong. And then final thing is when he takes that random shot at student debt. He compares student debt to price gouging. He's like, oh, you're going to price gouge the taxpayers to pay off your student debt? Where's my top hat?
Yes, I need my monocle, my cigar, yes.
Would he say that about high school and the way high school's funded right now? That's how public high school's funded. It's funded through tax dollars. Would he say
yeah, probably.
that about elementary school? Public elementary
Probably.
school?
Yeah.
Or public kindergarten?
Yeah, probably.
He'd say, little Timmy, I know you're a toddler who's going to school, but you're price gouging me as a taxpayer.
Your parents need to put yourselves on by bootstraps and actually put you for a proper, for-profit type of school instead of none of this weird taxpayer-based type of weird communistic bullshit. Yes. I, as a rich aristocrat, can obviously easily afford this type of thing. Something like you fucking rat. Yes.
Where's my monocle? And my pipe?
Hey, he's actually smoking on. Looks like he's trying to do a pipe. Kyle! Oh my god, Kyle, I love you. Hey, I already did that, you son of a bitch. It's like, where's my monocle to my cigar? Yes. I said cigar, not pipe, but whatever. It's close enough. I mean, See the best cigar straight from the most profitable, luxurious plantations out of Cuba. Yes. Or just like, the most finest tobacco from the south out of my pipe. Yes. Oh my god, he actually has a little vape pen! He has a little vape!
Pipe. This is way cooler than a pipe. No disrespect to pipe smokers.
Hey.
I got the vape all in the way. Anyway.
He's vaping all up in his studio. Let's go, dude. I love it. Dude, I love Kyle. Just straight up vaping, no fucks given, right all up in his fucking studio. My boy be a vapor, dude. He's part of that vape nation, dude. Wow.
Free college, free higher education, including free trade school, by the way, which is another thing I support, is just giving people equal opportunity. And by the way, it pays for itself in the long run and then some. When you invest think of it as an investment in the population. And then when you invest in the population, later on, they end up making more money and they end up paying more in taxes.
And thus help invest into more public institutions that help uplift those fucking people. And, their next generation and so on and so forth. Like, that's kind of the whole point. Like, I mean, especially when it comes to education and public investment in that, I mean, it really is just basically that. It's just like an investment in the long run. Like, I mean, you invest a bunch of money in the short term to, cash out in the long run, basically. I mean, that's the whole idea, especially when you have a prosperous society that's critically thinking, able to, get educated into various different career skills, and different traits and so on and so forth.
For everybody. It's better for everybody. Of course these guys would look at just fundamental basics in a modern civilized society and they say, that's price gouging. Any social democratic programs, I guarantee you they would say the same thing about universal health care.
Yep.
It's price gouging to make sure that you can get that new kidney and not go bankrupt.
Even though our current system has nothing but pure price gouging, yes. I hate these fucking monopolists.
How anybody watches this. And look, there's a new contingent on the right, at least among the voters and of the base, that like to fancy themselves, like populist. Like, no, I'm like pro-working class, but on the right. Okay, fair enough. I'll take you at your word. So what do you think of these guys? What do you think of these guys? Defending corporations at all costs, no matter how wrong they happen to be. This is not populism. This is elitism 101, and it's obvious.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm.
Yes, it does. But, yeah, I mean, it's just like, I mean, it's obvious fucking pure corporate stuff, so propaganda schmugness. Like, it's basically just straight up through and through, you know, bought and paid for corporate, you know, propaganda shit. Smash that button. Yeah, exactly. And I guarantee you they think literally anything that's remotely, like, regulatory is, like, outright sheer crazy communism. My goodness. Rudy Giuliani, the ghoul himself, was in fucking, The Masked Singer. Oh my god. And two of the judges walked out as soon as they revealed themselves. Oh, I love it. Oh, that's beautiful. What a beautiful, what a beautiful thing. What's this? Historic Dutch bridge is set to be dismantled for Jeff Bezos' yacht. Oh my god. Oh my god. Because Bezos' yacht is so fucking huge, the historic bridge has to be taken down just for it to fucking cross. GPU rocket surgery. It would be very unfortunate if something terrible happened to his yacht before they started dismantling the bridge. That would have delayed the project, perhaps indefinitely. Oh yeah, like if his yacht sank. My god, that'd be awesome. There better be some, like, Dutch revolutionaries that fucking do some base pogger shit to that fucking yacht. I'll just leave it at that. All I know is that I consider them heroes. Dude, rip. I found it about 10 minutes ago. Oh my god, you already found it. Okay, it's gonna sound creepy, but I actually looked up who you follow. So you recently followed Tech Cemetery. Already watching them all. Well, I don't think that's necessarily creepy. Hey.
Shut up. Shut up. Shut up. Hear your shit. Hey, you think 3 pounds of meat would fit in my skillet?
3 pounds?
Yeah.
It might be pushing the limit, but probably.
I was gonna cook that meat tonight, so I have to. Should I just do it in the bigger one or what? Because I gotta add water to it too for the taco seasoning.
Yeah, I might be overflowing it then. So I'd probably
use the silver one.
Yeah, I'd do a bigger one. Yeah. Just because it's a lot of meat and it might not fit all in the skillet unless you want to like make.
Well, fucking 3 pounds of meat, and I'm gonna cook it all at once, so I don't have to worry. Like,
yeah.
Done and fucking over with. What? You give me that weird fucking look every time I come in the garage. What? What, Zukov? Are you being a pansy and just sitting there because you don't want to?
Yeah, I found Tech Cemetery from YouTube video comments Northridge fixing T-Sub joint database. Because if you go to Ig's old landing page there, it doesn't say his old account doesn't exist, it just says he's blocked. Oh, me? So Twitch hasn't, like, deleted my account, it's just blocked it, basically. Anyway, no, it doesn't show you as following anyone that's blocked. Ah. Well, I guess that's a reassurance. Even if you're following them before they were blocked. TLDR, I have the reason to use Twitch again. Well, if I can get my shit resolved, then, you know, hopefully I can get back over there, too. Twitch will presumably show you as someone Rip and I follow instantly, like a remembrance that we follow you. Well, that's good at least. So basically, it just like it keeps all the information and all the stuff still there, but it just like hides it, so no one can see it. Besides Twitch themselves, I'm assuming. So like an actual Twitch moderator could probably still look at my account and, you know, look at my channel and shit like that. Well, that's what I'm thinking anyway. Yeah, that's what I'm assuming, because it wasn't like a full-on deletion, you know, type of ban. Oh yeah, that'll work. Yeah, so it was just like an indefinite suspension, so it wasn't like a full-on permaban, you know, so it wasn't like, you know, total deletion, so... Which is why I think, you know, it's still possible to, you know, reverse the suspension and shit. Because from when I was reading about it prior, you know, to looking into it last time, you know, it looked like there was a difference between permaban and indefinite suspension. So... But yeah, it all kind of leads to the same thing, but indefinite suspensions look like they're actually a little bit more easier to fucking fight back against. So, let's, yeah, send our email about that again. Okay, guys, not using enough fluxmate soldering. Shame. Shame! Shame! Right now my dog's all awake. He's all awake doing his thing, damn it. No! Silly boy. What a ridiculous thing. Ay, what a weirdo. Oh my goodness, you're too cute, bro. You're so cute. Oh god, what the fuck is this? Joe Biden praises Mitch McConnell, says he's a friend and a man of honor. Oh god. No, okay, alright. Launch me to the sun, I'm done. Alright, send me to the sun. I'm done. Sun, that's gonna be my new address. Solar system address is 1 Sun Street at literally the sun. So, yep, I'm moving there. That's my new, yep, it's public address now. Because everything that gets sent there will literally just incinerate before it even gets close. I'll, you know, develop, you know, heat-resistant technology. Fucking, you know, just, you know, make contact, land on the surface of that fucking, you know, sun, and just live there. You know, I'll be like the first man to, you know, survive on the sun, dude. Not just like walk on that shit, but like, you know, colonize that bitch. Fucking plant not an American flag, but like the United Humanity of Earth, you know, plopping on there, heat-resistant shit. You know, heat-resistant fucking cloth, so it just stays, you know, there. But, it, you know, because of the intense gravity, just... It doesn't, like, wave and shit. It just immediately gets sucked right down below, so you really can't see it, but, you know, nonetheless. So I'm gonna have, like, one of those vertical flags, so it just is flat instead. So it's like... And just stays down so you can see it as, like, a big, you know, vertical flag banner instead. You know, so it'll be one of those flags. But nonetheless, you know, stick that bitch right on there. I won't even have to do much. I just have to stick it there and just, like... If anything, it might just get sucked in. Just, like... You know, it's like, well, okay, well, so far for planting the flag. That's been absorbed. It's been absorbed into the sun now. Yeah, so, yeah, it's like, it's how we're gonna roll. It's like Courage the Cowardly Dog, and you know, when Courage went up to the fucking sun. Because it was becoming like a little red dwarf, and he had to change the light bulb inside the sun. Fucking making, you know, brighter again, and all that shit. It's a fun little episode. But instead of, like, you know, going back and forth, I'm just gonna be the guard. Be the watchman of the sun. But anyway. I'm just a moderate Republican, Jack. No malarkey.
Vice President Harris, Majority Leader Schumer, Mitch McConnell. Mitch, I don't want to hurt your reputation, but we really are friends. and that is not an epiphany we're having here at the moment. You've always done exactly what you've said. You're a man of your word, and you're a man of honor. Thank you for being my friend.
That was the Democratic President, Joseph Robinette Biden, pathetically praising Mitch McConnell.
Ugh. They didn't want to have this whole bipartisan thing of like trying to have like some sort of like, you know, Republican style fucking moderate, you know, in the Supreme Court and shit. Zukov, get over here. What are you doing? Go fucking figure.
Reaffirming their friendship. He's a man of honor, says Joe Biden.
It's a man of honor there, boy.
I mean, this is embarrassing. Imagine calling one of the most destructive political figures in modern American history your friend. Let me tell you about your friend, Joe Biden. Because of this individual, in the year 2022, women might literally have to resort to coat hanger abortions again because he stole 2 Supreme Court seats from your party, and he's your friend? I mean, most of the damage that Mitch McConnell has caused to this country is irreparable, but what we can...
On top of that, it's like, I mean, yeah, overall, he is his friend, though. Because when it comes to the fucking, you know, corporate establishment and the corporate paradigm, they're both in the same fucking game together. They're all been working in cahoots in the same type of shit, you know, for all these fucking years. Of course they're gonna be fucking buddies. But being, you know, to like in the same type of political system for decades on decades, you know, and this, you know, like working together and shit for so long, of course they are.
We can undo will take decades.
I mean, honestly, it's just saying the quiet part out loud at this point.
And yet, you still publicly legitimize him and call him a man of honor and say he's your friend. What is wrong with you? Is all of this meaningless?
Yes.
Is politics just a show to you? Because
yes, it literally is.
We actually have skin in the game. We actually view this as a high-stakes thing, and we want you to actually fight. But this tells us...
So do some of these fucking crazy right-wingers too and shit, but yet nonetheless, this is how the fucking paradigm treats it as like a fucking show. They don't give a fuck, because all they do is profit and, you know, and gain wealth at it, you know, and extract more, you know, from it the entire way. Like, they're all totally fine with it because they're the ones who maximize, you know, their fucking wealth and influence out of it all. I mean, that's why it's a show to them. They don't give a fuck. Like, their money just keeps, you know, advancing further and further when it comes to shit, and they're totally okay with it.
Please spit in his face, hock a loogie right in his eye, and Joe Biden would probably just wipe it off and then lick his fingers. Because that's how craven he is. That's how desperate he is.
Ew.
To get the acceptance of these mouth-breathing, pants-shitting psychopaths known as Republicans. Mitch McConnell could tie Joe Biden up in his basement and subject him to perpetual cock and ball torture. And Joe
Hey, Jack. No malarkey. Don't tease me of a good time. I'm gonna have to take you down to the gym and think otherwise there. No malarkey. Oh.
He'd probably get off on it and thank him when he's done, because that's how weird these people are. That's how psychopathic these motherfuckers are. And it's not like I'm expecting, you know, Joe Biden to publicly shame Mitch McConnell, because of course Democrats would never breach decorum. They're always going to remain civil, no matter what. But maybe for once,
lame.
Just stand up to them. I mean, my expectations
maybe for once break decorum.
Aren't
like that's one thing I'm still done with the electoral bullshit. It's just because like, oh, decorum, moral, the civility of it all. It's like, fuck that bullshit. Like, at this point, that's literally is what, you know, is continuing the degradation of all this bullshit. when it comes to like the system around us. So it's like, as far as I'm concerned, fuck this whole like modicum of decorum and civility just for the sake of like of their fucking exploitation and shit. Fuck that. Like at this point, the time for decorum civility has been long fucking gone.
Expecting Joe Biden to go.
That doesn't mean like blood in the streets or whatever the fuck, but that means to like being a little bit more impactful when like standing up against these fucks. Instead of being like, hey, knock it off now. It's like actually have like a full-on like general strike against their ass or some shit. Like and like actually stand up to their fucking bullshit and not voting these fucks in over and over and over and over again.
McConnell in the eye at the prayer breakfast and say, you know what, Mitch McConnell, I see you. Fuck you. Suck my dick and choke on it. No cap. I hope you die, bro. I'm not expecting that. Joe Biden would never do that.
I wish he did. God damn, that'd be based if like a president just looked at like some random fuck that's just been stonewall and everything. It's just like, no cap. Fuck you. I hope you choke on a dick and like and literally die, trying to swallow a piece of lobster you didn't chew properly, you fuck. It's just like, I mean, it's like, or something, like, I mean, it's like, no cap. Like, there needs to be, like, full-on edge. Like, seriously, fuck the civility and shit. Like, I mean, I will, there's, like, a wiki page, of, like, all the different, like, legislative fights that have broken out and shit, not just in the United States, but just throughout different parliaments and congresses and shit around the world, mostly in recent history as well. But like in the U.S., there's so many different fights and shit that are broken out, and if like and over like very poignant, good reason, justified things to fucking have a fight over about. Like there was a lot of fights during the 1820s and like. And 1850s and shit like that due to the abolition movement, and there was a lot of pro-abolitionists that you will literally get into fist fights with fucking segregationists and pro-slavers and shit, who would be defending their fucking ideas and defending their territory and their property and all this bullshit. And then you got these abolitionists, and sometimes the fucking racists would get in their face and the abolitionists would get in their face, but sometimes they would have full-on fucking fights. It's like, I mean, and honestly, I'm not even giving a fuck, and I don't even care. Like, where the fuck is that shit? Like, I mean, there would be a lot more people tuning in to C-SPAN if all of a sudden that was breaking up.
I think we should be able to expect you to not publicly legitimize him. But we can't even get that. Democrats are just so weak. Peak cuck energy. That's what Joe Biden is. One of the weakest presidents in the history of the United States. Can't even stand up to people in his own party obstructing his own.
I mean, honestly, I think James Buchanan had more fucking balls. So honestly, yeah, I don't think he's wrong. Honestly,
going out of his way.
Biden is fucking weak.
To praise Mitch fucking McConnell. What a joke you are, Joe Biden. Wow, how embarrassing. Now, let me remind you what Mitch McConnell said just last week, before Biden even had the opportunity to name a nomination to the Supreme Court. Best Levin of Vanity Fair explains, Mitch McConnell is already out there suggesting he's not going to let Biden's yet-to-be-named pick to replace Stephen Breyer on the Supreme Court go through. In a statement issued Thursday, the Senate Minority Leader warned that Biden had best not nominate someone too ideological, like, a number of the conservative justices already on the court, or there'd be consequences. Quote, the American people elected a Senate that is evenly split at 50-50, McConnell said. To the degree that President Biden received a mandate, it was to govern from the middle, steward our institutions, and unite America. The president must not outsource this important...
Oh my god. Ugh. Rot in a fucking cellar.
...decision to the radical left. The American people deserve a nominee with demonstrated reverence for the written text of our laws and our Constitution. So, this is someone...
oh yeah, like you totally fucking uphold there, McConnell, you worthless little fucking parasite.
...who has repeatedly made a mockery of you, Joe Biden. This is someone who pledged to block 100% of your agenda. And, I mean, maybe Biden doesn't mind because he's not doing fuck all anyway.
Yeah, seriously. Evidently, Joe Biden's okay with that because he literally is doing fuck all and he doesn't give a shit. I mean, so, yeah, like the Democratic Party, especially, these days, is known for not giving a fuck. So, I mean, for all in all, you know, for what they're fucking worth, I mean, the Republicans just, you know what it is and just, you know, treat them as they are and treat them as they should be. Just a bunch of fucking dogs to just walk all over and shit, you know, because they're a bunch of fucking amoebic parasites that, you know how to get their fucking shit through and know that they're a bunch of weak little fucking peddling cowards. They ain't gonna do shit but suck their fucking dick. I mean, it's pretty much what the Democrats are there for, you know, at this point. It's just basically sucking Republican dick left and right, you know, with bipartisan consensus and support. They gotta work across the aisle.
Democracy, and that's true.
Have moderate Democrats,
was
Jack.
Trump's enforcer. Trump wouldn't have been nearly as effective had it not been for Mitch McConnell right there, helping him accomplish all of the terrible things that he wanted to accomplish. But yet Joe Biden says he's a friend and a man of honor. To think that Mitch McConnell is a man of honor says a lot about your moral character. We all know that the author of the crime bill, tough on crime, fucking
Pro-Patriot Act, pro the Iraq War, you know, was, you know, segregationist, you know, back, you know, in his prime. Like, he's a fucking racist, garbage, fucking schmuck piece of shit. And does fuck all aside from just continuing the same old bullshit, you know, when it comes to a lot of policies that have already been enacted vicariously, by the previous administration. I wonder who that could have been, you know. And then just, you know, continuing the whole fucking, you know, imperialistic military young toughs, you know, that, you know, owns at least half of our fucking, you know, nation state. You know, rattling up with Russia and shit when it shouldn't be our fucking problem in the fucking first place. It's like, yeah, Russia bad. You know, what they're doing is fucked up, but yeah, it's not the fucking U.S.'s business. So it's just like, I mean, we, like, American troops, you know, have no fucking reason being in goddamn Ukraine, and, you know, at this fucking rate. And, you know, if we want to give out food and medicine, I'm fine with that, but it shouldn't be any further than such. When it comes to at least our involvement. But yet, gotta keep, you know, the whole paradigm chugging along. Gotta keep the status quo going.
He's morally bankrupt. But right here, he's really telling you just how craven he is. Just how desperate he is to be accepted by Republicans. He doesn't give a fuck about his base, constituents. He's not doing anything to mitigate the damage that he caused with his bankruptcy bill, fucking over student loan borrowers, you know, locking up people for having cannabis. He's not trying to undo the damage he caused. He's in there groveling at the feet of Republican lawmakers, trying to get their acceptance like the sycophantic little cuck that he is. And it's not just Joe Biden, let me be clear. This
Man, I love Mike's commentary.
Microcosm of a bigger issue with Democrats. They're all fucking weak. Let's remember what Nancy Pelosi said about Republicans just a couple of months ago.
And I say to my Republican friends, take back your party. The country needs a big, strong Republican Party. Here I say that as a leader in the Democratic Party, but we need...
Oh my fucking god. Then go join the Republicans, you bitch. You worthless fucking corporate parasite. Like, oh my god. Like every fucking day at this point, whenever some shit comes out about Biden or the Democrats, it's just more and more, it's just I'm forced and justified in my idea that, like, yeah, they're fucking worthless and they're not worth the time and they should be eschewed. Like, any vote in there for, you know, being pushed to them is just honestly, you know, naive fucking thinking to think that they're gonna change. Like, unless, like, these fucking old-ass corporate fucking goons and, you know, their fucking ideas and their fucking, you know, a way of thinking of shit is actually changed, there ain't gonna be no fucking, you know, revival for their fucking shit. And the likelihood of that happening anyway in the first place is pretty minimal anyway, considering how co-opted and owned they are from that fucking influence in the first place.
Strong Republican Party, you've done so much for
like,
our country.
Both parties, especially, but, like, you know, Democratic Party, you know, needs to just die. Like, both of these parties need to die and have, you know, like a total rebirth of different fucking parties, you know, birthed out of, you know, from them and from, you know, from the reverberation of, you know, their collapse. Like, I mean, that's just what needs to happen for both of them. But at least, you know, from, you know, leftist / progressive perspective, like, Democratic Party needs to, you know, have it first. I mean, Republicans might, considering a lot of their fucking fringe far-right base and shit. They might, you know, faction off and start their own thing. Possibly. I mean, so, like, you know, have, like, an America First party and shit. I mean, there's already, like, some etchlings of that type of shit anyway. Like, I remember one point, I think in Oregon, there's, like, an American Independent Party, but they're just, like, another fucking far-right, crazy, fringe group, you know, basically in a political party. So it's like, you know, something like that could be a fucking thing. Like, we're the American Independent Party. We're basically just a bunch of psycho Trumpies and far-right loons. So, I mean, it's like, yeah, they're gonna fucking exist. They'll be there. But, you know, it's like, you know, Democratic Party needs their fucking coming too. Or else we're just gonna, you know, continue to see the fucking, you know, continuation of, you know, further degradation towards, you know, further far-right, you know, policies in our paradigm and shit. Especially considering the more radical far-right.
And take back your party. Don't have it be a cult of personality on the extreme right.
Counterpoint, no, we don't need a strong Republican Party. We need the Republican Party to go the way of the dodo before this psychopathic death cult ends humanity. I mean, how much more time do you think we have to save the planet? It's not like you all give a fuck, but they're blocking progress and trying to take what little we do and undo that. So we don't need a strong Republican Party. We need them to go extinct so Democrats can be what they always wanted to be, the de facto.
Well, I mean, they're never going to be what they used to be, or, I mean, honestly, if they would end up being what they wanted to be, they would just be not too much different from, like, the Republicans. They would just have a lot of fucking social pandering that the Democrats do.
In the United States, and then hopefully, you know, a left-wing party, or at least a center-left party will emerge. But that's never going to happen. That's never going to happen. Why? Because Democrats won't let it happen. Democrats love Republicans. And, you know, you see them oftentimes condemn what Republicans say and do, but in actuality, they really like this. Because what all of this demonstrates is that politics is nothing more than a show to them. They love having the Republican Party there because that makes their jobs so much easier. I mean, think about it. If Republicans block all of your agenda, then you get to sit on your ass, do nothing, and then send emails to your constituents about how Republicans are blocking this wonderful thing that you want to accomplish. And you never have to actually do anything. You never have to violate what your donors want. There's no expectation. So they love Republicans. Democrats are nothing more than seat warmers. They kind of give us a break from the craziness of Republicans. And that's all that they do. They never take us...
While still giving you the same policies that, you know, in a lot of ways that come from those same crazies. Go figure.
In a further direction, they never try to salvage what's left of our democracy. They just sit on their asses, do fuck all, and prop up the Republican Party and legitimize them, when this party is so extreme that they would not be electorally viable in a sane world. In most European countries, these types of
Which is honestly why usually in other fucking European countries, if they have like a little movement, you know, in one election cycle, usually it's the one right after that, they usually just kind of collapse. Like with UKIP or with Alternative for Germany, like these two different far-right parties and shit basically collapsed within like the electoral cycle. They kind of got big in it for a little bit, but after that one election cycle happened and then the next one happened, they all kind of went kind of kabunk.
And they're gaining prominence, to be short. But I mean, the Conservative Party in Canada, nowhere near Republicans. Tories in the UK, they're bad, but they're not Republican Party bad. I don't even know if UKIP is as bad as Republicans.
Yeah, I don't even think UKIP was as bad, but they were still pretty shitty.
But yeah, Democrats are desperate to prop them up and legitimize them. It's just, this is why they lose elections, because they are inadvertently communicating to their base that none of this actually matters. See, to a lot of people, politics is actually about survival. I don't talk about politics because I care so much about these political figures and I want to see what Nancy Pelosi has to say about legislation. I don't give a fuck about any of these people. What I care about is helping people. I want people to have health care. I want the planet to be habitable. This is about survival. It's not political theater to us, but to them, it's just a show. So
yeah, I mean, especially, you know, for, you know, me at least, it's not necessarily just about survival, but just about, like, actually, you know, achieving, you know, something that can be legitimate, you know, comfort and opportunity for people. Not just necessarily just basic survival either. I mean, there's a lot of different, you know, things about the that comes into play with me, at least on that shit. Not necessarily just survival, but just basic comfortability, opportunity, just for doing whatever they want to seek out to do, whether it's going to like seeking higher education, going into trade, or just doing whatever type of hobbies they got going on for themselves and shit. It's just these type of things. And just having the basic sense of having a roof over their fucking heads, so they can have the ability to have a stable place to have these opportunities for themselves. It's just some pretty basic, simple shit that all ties into overall, I guess, one's survival.
I'm a little bit overly triggered by this, and perhaps you'd be right, but they have no fucking shame. They have no shame. Joe Biden should be ashamed of himself. He should hide his face in shame for the rest of his life. The fact that he even ran for president really is shocking, given how many fuck-ups he's made. I mean, he's done damage to the country, too, that will take a long time to repair. But for him to be president, do fuck all for the American people, and then praise Mitch McConnell, the worst of what the Republican Party has to offer. Go fuck. Very stupid.
Oh, oops, shit. What the fuck? No. I want to hear that. I want to hear that last little beauty. That last little bit of... Oh.
But for him to be president, do fuck all for the American people, and then praise Mitch McConnell.
Misclicked.
The worst of what the Republican Party has to offer. Go fuck yourself, Joe Biden, you fucking simpleton, dotard piece of shit. Go fuck yourself.
Dotard piece of shit.
I hate Democrats so much. The hatred that I have in my heart for Democrats...
Let the hate flow through you.
The entire U.S. electrical grid. They're just worthless. They are completely...
They can power the whole U.S. electrical grid. Yes. Yes, let the hate flow through you, Mike. Yes, let the hate flow through you. I mean, honestly, who can... at this point, who can blame them? I mean, I feel similar. Like, our combined hatred could probably, energize the entire North America and Southern American continent, probably. Like our combined just hatred alone, because holy shit, I'm done with them. I've already kind of have been anyway, but now it's just yep, nope, no. I don't think anything will be done to actually legitimately convince me at this point. Seriously. At least when it comes to this, local election shit, that's at least where I'm gonna keep my fucking focus on shit. Because there's actual progress that can be made on state and local levels. Sweet little boy. Going all up on that little rawhide. So cute. Just a sweet little boy. Let's see what random nonsense is on 2. Let's see. It really is not shit. Boo. I'm going all om. Just om away. So cute. Let me see what Santa Claus is doing. Geeks plus gamers, so they just hate minorities and being media. Geeks plus gamers. Is that like a YouTube channel? I guess it is. What's going on with this? Let's skip around and see if I can find some shit.
And timeline for Halo. I already have a lot of concerns before we even watch the trailer. I have a lot of concerns, but we're gonna watch the trailer in its entirety, and then we're going to talk about it. So here we go.
Oh. Alright, this is a clusterfuck.
Okay, can I make like one somewhat off-topic criticism right now? You know those stingers that like trailer, I don't know why, but like every time you see a YouTube trailer, they always seem to start with these stingers at the beginning before the actual trailer. I hate them. I fucking hate them. Not only are they full of spoilers for the trailer, because usually like trailers are structured in a format specifically meant to unveil a thing in like a very hyped way, right? Like for example, in the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, like the way Green Goblin and Doc Ock are introduced is like it's led up to. It's like exciting, right? But if you have a stinger there at the beginning where you just drop that right at the beginning of the trailer, you just kind of like ruined it, haven't you?
Yeah.
I hate those little fucking teasers at the beginning.
Yeah, it's kind of ruining the whole idea of a trailer, isn't it?
I don't need a 5-second teaser at the beginning for the 2-minute trailer I'm about to watch. I don't need.
Well, you have to maximize, you know, the advertisement revenue when it comes to your trailers.
I assume you guys don't give a fuck about me doing detailed breakdowns of the quality of this trailer and what I think the show will be. I assume you guys don't give a shit.
Wait, this is gonna be a show?
Humanity's best weapon.
Oh, you can already see he's mad. There were non-white people. Did you guys see it? You guys see it? See? Look at his face the second that non-white character appeared on screen.
I can't even see it.
Immediately. Immediately. He starts to look skeptical. The second that a non-white character appears on screen, you can see it in his face. I love it. It's so good. It's so fucking good. Too many political people. True.
How's the chief, huh?
Chief looks great. Chief looks great.
Okay.
I'll say that
He's
much.
enhanced and trained for one purpose. To win this war. He and the other Spartans
That's not true.
are our only...
That is not true. Honestly, most likely it's probably like some bullshit they did in the editing for the trailer, like stitching lines together.
Welcome to
But the
capitalism,
Spartans
dude.
were not made, especially not Master Chief. The Spartans were not made to deal with the Covenant, and the war they're referring to. The Spartans were made
I don't
to
know about the lore, I don't care.
human insurrections on random planets and stuff. They just happen to be really useful to deal with the Covenant when they get along. Thank you, Crafty.
Who cares about the lore?
Everyone give a sub to Amu.
I guess Halo nerds probably do, but I don't. I just want to see what like this dude's weird ass take is about this trailer.
Lottery or
It looks like a gold trailer.
a lot of crypto or something.
We'll say that much.
against the Covenant.
Okay, that Covenant alien looked pretty badass. Okay, that looks pretty badass.
Controllable.
It looks badass.
Yeah. I'm like what this guy. I guess this dude in the corner is gonna have like, I guess the bottom left corner. He's gonna get butthurt about this trailer for some reason.
When I touched the object, I felt
So far, it looks pretty cool. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, I've been watching Halo lore videos off stream.
felt different. What they did to us makes you numb.
You just decided to help me. Why would a Spartan do that?
What does one do?
Oh! Wait, did you see it? Wait, did you see it? Look at his face. Look at his face the second she appears on screen. Look at the face the second she appears on screen. Watch his face.
You just decided to help me. Why would a Spartan do that?
I literally can't even tell,
Scrunched
but
it
whatever.
gets. Like he goes from he was already scrunched because he saw brown people before, so he was already at like. But then when he saw she had speaking lines, he got like.
What does one do with a superhuman you're not sure you can trust?
Hello, Master Chief. I'm Cortana.
Oh, I assume he's gonna get mad about that. To be fair, everyone got mad about that design. Like, I'd say the
What, Cortana? I don't know, let me look at her. What's so bad about her?
Hello, Master Chief. I'm Cortana.
Okay. I don't know. Whatever.
Oh, I assume he's gonna
I'm neutral about it.
about that. To be fair, everyone got mad about that design. Like, I'd say the fact that, like, the only real issue most Halo fans had coming out of this trailer was Cortana not being blue enough is, like, a really good sign. Because making Cortana bluer is so easy. She doesn't sound robotic. It's the same voice actress as Florian Agax. Do you not know that? It's a different actress portraying her physically, the same actress that portrays Halsey, but the voice is the same as from the Halo games. It's the same Cortana voice. So anyway, yeah, not my Cortana. Yeah, but like making her bluer is like an easy like thing they can do following fan back. Like,
I guess just, you know, and because it'd make her more like a hologram, I guess. I don't know. It seems more like a nitpick more than anything. That just seems like a nitpick.
But fan feedback. But I assume, like, I assume he'll have a problem with that.
Master Chief recovered something.
Probably, I guess.
Halo.
Okay, she looked a little intense.
There was a brown person, and he got mad again. Wait, watch his eyes. Watch his eyes.
That was weird. Cortana looks weird.
Master Chief recovered something. Take a drink.
See? Another brown person came on stream, or on screen. His eyes got even squintier.
Halo.
It's got the typical intense music and shit.
For those of you that are confused about this, because I have no doubt that, because obviously there's a woman here with an SJW haircut, so you can see the look on her face.
The SJW haircut.
The second he saw a woman with the SJW haircut. For those of you guys that are not Halo nerds and don't understand what the fuck is going on with this show,
Because
I'm not even a Halo nerd. I haven't played most.
I'm
of the
definitely
games,
not a
but
Halo nerd, so I guess I
most
need
of
the
the ones I have
explanation.
played. I played a long time ago. Besides what you've seen on stream recently, basically, this show is not canon. They're coming outright to say this show is just not canon. It is heavily inspired by the Halo canon,
Okay.
and all the characters and everything like that in the story, but they're making some pretty severe changes. This character apparently is a human who is raised...
Alright, I mean, at least they're coming out saying that it's like a non-canon type of show, so... All in all, I think that, you know, adds justification for some of the changes, I suppose.
And is basically humans are pretty valuable to the Covenant, having one as a prisoner, because a lot of Forerunner technology, which is like the technology the Covenant wants to get their hands on and use for things that I won't go into too much detail on, can only really be activated by humans for like lore reasons. So having a human
Lore reasons
kind of makes sense for the Covenant to want to do, especially if they could kidnap a kid and like indoctrinate that human kid into being on the Covenant side so that they willingly activate Covenant Forerunner artifacts. Basically what we're seeing here is she's like storming a UNSC human ship and is controlling the worms that make up the Hunters. For those of you guys that don't know, the Hunter guys from Halo
I know
are
the
made
Hunters.
out of worms that sort of like undulate together to form a living like giant hulking brute monster.
Yeah.
So I guess she's just controlling like a swarm of those individual worms here. Looks pretty cool. Interesting like story direction to go in. Though I assume because she's
Seems
a woman
cool.
who has like the SJW haircut, he's gonna get mad.
Cortana, I'm gonna need you now.
I mean, all in all, the trailer actually does look pretty cool.
Halo, in the war.
Halo.
What the fuck did I just watch? Like, that was weird because it's...
I mean, it looks something that look kind of cool. I don't know. What the
amazing.
fuck do
And
you
the
want,
visuals
dude?
look really cool. But at the same time, it looks like a fan-made thing, and then Cortana looks strange and weird. And
I mean, because it is kind of a fan-made thing. Again, I could kind of justify that considering they came out saying that, basically.
Graham.
It's inspired, not...
I'm just gonna be...
Okay, one thing I will say is, it did almost feel like a fan-made thing watching that trailer, and I think the reason for that is that we've had so many
Because it is kind of...
YouTube fan-made Halo videos over the years that it's like it's impossible now for them to make a Halo show with high production value even that isn't at least somewhat reminiscent of those old YouTube sketches that a million of them have been made and sort of ingrained in YouTube culture.
I actually remember years back watching one of those that was like basically, I think I might have saw a re-upload of it once back in like 2012 or some shit, because I saw a video that's saying like the first 15-minute leak of a Halo movie or some shit like that. And honestly, I don't think there ever was actually one, you know, hypothetically, you know, potentially was going to be made or whatever. But it was like, at least the video I saw says it was like, you know, first 15 minutes of a Halo movie or some shit. Even though it wasn't, but honestly, it was, you know, like, you know, done on a high level enough to where it looked like, you know, could have been passable for a film. And it looked pretty cool overall. So, I mean, maybe it was like a fan-made, you know, film to look like, you know, it's like, hey, here's, you know, hypothetically, you know, first 15 minutes of a Halo movie that could be made, you know, but, I don't know. All in all, there is a lot of them out there, but, you know, I'd say that, you know, these are pretty cool ones, overall, at least, you know, from what I've seen before, so, I mean, when it comes to like, some of the Halo fan-made iteration, you know, things that have been done on YouTube, some of them can be pretty badass. I mean, there's a lot of cheesy, schlocky ones out there, for sure, don't get me wrong, but I mean, I can kind of appreciate those too sometimes.
I get that vibe. I can understand that perspective, though I don't think he is coming into it from the same perspective as me.
To be honest, I'm getting some strong Last Jedi vibes. Because visually, like I said, Chief looks great, Arbiter looks great. You got the energy sword. You know, you got Cortana. What you get Cortana? I don't really understand that. But then you look at the emphasis on diversity, because there's a heavy emphasis.
See it all smug fucking face. Oh my god. There's a heavy emphasis on diverse. It's like, oh my god. Especially considering it's the Halo universe. Who gives a fuck? I felt like, I mean, considering this video here, you know, and everything, I knew there was going to be a shoe that was going to drop. I was just kind of curious when it was going to drop, and there it was. Whoop, there it is. It's like, yeah, it's, you know, there's a lot of diversity and a bunch of wokeness in this, it looks like. It's like, are you fucking kidding? Dude, who gives a fuck? It looks fine. Like, for a trailer, it looked fine. Like, it looked okay. I mean, it wasn't, like, the best looking fucking trailer out there. I mean, it wasn't, like, the worst fucking trailer. It was, I'd say, you know, a little bit more in the upper echelon of the average there. You know, kind of an above average, pretty decent, you know, looking trailer. I mean, there's, you know, it wasn't, like, the most fucking greatest trailer ever, but it was alright. It was pretty cool. Like, it definitely showed off a lot of the cool badass shit about, you know, Halo and stuff, and, you know, got a lot of, you know, the different stuff about it, you know, pretty good. I mean, the energy swords, yeah, they looked badass. I mean, a lot of the different designs they did aesthetically and shit, pretty cool. I mean, all in all, it's like, it looked fine. So what if there's, like, some SJW hair, or, like, uh-oh, some diversity, we got Asians and blacks in our fucking Halo film, like, or our Halo show or something. It's like, literally, who cares? Like, there was in the fucking game, too, you dipshit. Or the games, I should say. It's like, well, it's so stupid. It's so stupid. Like, why? Out of everything, you can bitch about that shit. I love that. Love that little eyebrow. Like, hey.
Like, in the original teaser trailer we saw weeks ago or whatever, it was like diversity, diversity, diversity. Now, again, if you show me that in isolation, taken...
By the way, he considers diversity being shoved in his face to be when there are brown people. That's all that trailer was, by the way. Guys, did you see anything in that trailer that drew attention to the race of any of the characters there?
No. Literally no. Like, there just wasn't. It was just like there just happenstance were different female, you know, male characters, and some of them happen to be minorities as well, whether they're, you know, of Asian or black background. And they just were there. Like, honestly, when it comes to this, like, especially at least when it comes to entertainment media, like in this whole quote-unquote, like, diversity thing, or, you know, all this shit that the right supposedly freaks out about. Like, honestly, like, I'm okay with it, and I'm fine with it, as long as the story and the overall, like, movie itself is done right, and done some justice, and done good. Or for the show. Like, I mean, you can have all the diversity, or, quote, wokeness, or whatever the fuck you want in it, as long as it's still an overall good movie, or a good show. I mean, there's plenty of shows out there that don't do the whole wokeness thing at all, that suck, and there's plenty of shows that also do the whole woke thing and diversity thing that also suck. I mean, but it's not because of the fact that they are doing wokeness, that sucks. It's because of shitty writing, fucking just, or just on a general level, just poor quality show or poor quality film. I mean, in one way, shape, or form, that's why. I mean, maybe hyper-focusing on things like diversity probably might play a role in it, but fundamentally, that's not really it, Chief. Like, I mean, they can, hyper-focus on that all day long and shit, and they could still potentially make a good show out of it, or a good movie out of it. So, I mean, it's kind of a moot fucking point. I mean, in my mind, so it's like, who cares if there's, like, a bunch of wokeness or diversity or whatever the fuck? As long as it's a good show or a good movie.
Did your dad listen to music at all?
Huh?
Did your dad listen to music at all?
Yeah, but not often. Why?
Because, like, I can hear his TV all the way in the fucking room.
I don't know.
I don't know either. And it's the same melody over and over and over and over again.
Oh, it's probably because he has, like, a DVD in there and it's, like, a menu screen on it or some shit, I bet. I don't fucking know. He's probably passed out. He probably fell asleep. Aye.
There's, period, white, black, brown, whatever, doesn't matter. Anything there that specifically drew attention to that other than them just being on screen and being that race. Nothing about the trailer gave a social justice-y vibe at all. The existence of those non-white characters, if you are someone whose politics lead them to believe that that is a bad thing, you may see that as political. That trailer had nothing political in it, really. I mean, Halo is a very political series, don't get me wrong.
I mean, honestly, when the other dude earlier, I guess this Geeks and Gamers guy, I'm saying he has, like, strong Last Jedi vibes. I mean, it's a trailer. I mean, I honestly got my skepticism these days, too, because of that shit. I've been soiled badly from that, but I kind of went into that knowing that was going to be the case anyway. But, like, I mean, this is also a show, not a movie. So, it's like maybe the first episode might not necessarily be good that, comes out of the show, but maybe the rest of the first season might be great. I mean, like, you're not necessarily going to be able to, like, you can't really say it's going to be like it has the Last Jedi vibes if one, it hasn't even come out yet, and two, if it's a show. Like, it's more appropriate to say if it has, like, kind of a Game of Thrones vibe or a Dexter vibe, where it's, when it comes to, like, their later seasons. Like, like the final seasons of, those shows. Where it's like, oh, they have, like, this big thing, but, it ended up just going, it's shitting all over it. So, I mean, like, if anything with this, I kind of have a feeling it's a little bit more of a, like, action-y version of, like, Mandalorian, but that's just kind of, like, my gist of it. Like, kind of a more, like, action-packed, kind of like a Marvel-esque style, like, Mandalorian, sci-fi-esque, blend, in the Halo universe. I mean, that's what it kind of feels like a little bit. Which isn't bad. I mean, it looks like, it's going to be able to kind of, hit that shit, at least pretty decently. I mean, honestly, the show Halo doesn't look bad at all. I didn't even know it was coming out at all, to be honest. I just know Halo fans are all, like, ooh, Halo Infinite, ooh, let's get that, yeah. So I know that was, a big thing, but honestly, didn't know the show's coming out too. And you know what? I'm down for it. So, I'm not a big Halo nerd myself, but hell, I'm down to watch it. I mean, I don't know what fucking platform it's on, but I mean, all in all, like, it doesn't look bad. It just doesn't. And oh no, because there happens to be some diverse cast members, it like, oh no, it's bad now. At least according to this Geeks and Gamers dude, because it has Last Jedi vibes because of that, apparently. Which, that also just doesn't even necessarily make sense. I mean, it's so dumb. Like, over fucking... Because there's just different cast members that aren't Hua.
A collection of brutal, authoritarian, religious fanatic aliens. That's pretty fucking political.
Yeah.
There's a lot of political commentary in Halo.
I mean, there is.
Bungie games back when Halo was a little bit more, a little bit less just like, oh look, shooty shoots are good. You know, like the story had a little bit more to it going on. You know, that's the one criticism I have of 343 games is the story doesn't feel as deep. You know, like the feeling of hearing Cortana.
It's more surface level.
Exposition in Halo 2 will never be met by the feeling of the weapon giving me exposition in Halo Infinite. It's just, you're not going to get the same feeling, just because the story doesn't feel as grand.
All of Hollywood's nonsense away from it. I watched that, and I'm like, that looks pretty cool. You know, kind of has a fan-made feel to it, which isn't necessarily always a bad thing. But when I have seen what Hollywood has done with so many properties, then I have a lot of reason to be concerned. A lot of reason to be concerned. And there is a...
Considering what he was mentioning about diversity earlier, it's like, huh. For me, it's like, I mean, I got problems about Hollywood for sure, you know, but I honestly can absolutely guarantee to you that, like, you know, the shit that he's gonna critique, you know, about them are nowhere near what I got. Because a lot of them is due to the executives and fucking, you know, fucking overwriters and a lot of the higher-ups and shit that usually, you know, take a lot of total fucking IP control and just total executive control over these films and not giving them to the writers and, just, you know, to the directors and actually, you know, giving them the more carte blanche to create the fucking film that they want to make. Like, I mean, that's just one issue. I mean, there's plenty of other problems about it, too, when it comes to Hollywood overall. But, I mean, that's at least, you know, just, you know, the more generalized, you know, arc, you know, when it comes to a lot of their problems.
Concerned about this trailer. Like,
by the way, I want to remind you, this guy thought that, like, the Witcher show is bad because they kind of race swapped Triss.
Again, it's so weird.
How? What? I haven't seen The Witcher, but I've heard some good things about it, even from people that haven't, you know, played The Witcher series. So, I don't know. I'll have to check that out too. But I mean, just because they did one character a little different, I mean, suddenly it's now bad, I guess. Okay.
Like, when it starts out, like, there's really cool stuff here, you know? There's some cool shots. I think it looks pretty cool. Chief looks amazing.
Okay, what's
but
the
then
issue?
You're getting into some...
So, yeah, what's the issue?
Weird stuff. Like, the moment Cortana shows up and then you got your Last Jedi stuff going on.
Oh, I didn't catch it. Guys.
So, Last Jedi stuff going on basically because there's women?
Since I became, like, more left-leaning, I've become better at analyzing media, you know, like, the identity and whatnot of characters doesn't really stick out to me as much anymore. Like, back when I was a conservative, I cared so much about idpol. I cared so much about what the identity of the characters were on screen. Since I became a progressive, surprisingly, whether or not, like, a character on screen is a woman or not, like, hasn't jumped out to me. Like, it doesn't jump out to me in media anymore. It's just not something that...
It literally does it to me. Like, I'm looking at that character right there, whoever she is, and I'm like, okay, she looks like a badass. I wonder what she's about. You know, that's what I'm looking at when I see her. I'm seeing her, and I'm like, okay, so we got a badass who's wearing some cool armor and shit. Probably a soldier of some sort, you know, probably gonna fuck some shit up. Probably, you know, an important side character, potentially. You know, so, I don't know. So, like, I mean, what's so bad about her? Like, what, just because she happens to be a female casted character instead of a male casted character? Is it the short hair? Like, I don't... like, oh my god, weed, please. Like, I don't understand it. Like, oh god, there's women with a short hair playing in this, so no diversity. Oh god, oh. Weed. Oh god, man, this is some good weed, Jesus Christ. This is meal. I mean, jeez. I mean, for this, I'm in the weed, goddamn. Alright, that might have done it. Anyway. But, like, I just don't get, like, how people get, at least especially people on the right, get so hyper obsessed with this Idpol shit. I mean, I know there's definitely people on the left that, you know, can get hyper fixated on stuff like this too, but, man, not to the same fucking degree. Just honestly, straight up, just nowhere near. Like, this hyper fucking, you know, fear-mongering and scare-mongering about, like, diversity and all this shit, it's so beaten dead by these motherfuckers. Like, because this character happens to be there, there's, like, some Last Jedi vibes and diversity vibes and, like, woke skull vibes or something. Like, we don't even know anything about her as a character, you know, considering the trailer. It's a trailer. Like, the show ain't out yet. Like, I mean, until we actually know stuff about her character and shit, we're not gonna fucking know anything about, you know, how she is. If she's a terrible character, then she's a terrible character, but, you know, as it stands now, I mean, who knows? I mean, she looks kind of like a badass, so, I mean, that'd be kind of my expectation. It's like, oh, we got, like, you know, fucking, you know, like I'm assuming, like, a U.S., you know, like one of those, like, fucking, like, United Spartan fucking core dudes, or I guess in this case, core chicks, or just fucking, you know, like, badass fucking, you know, kicking ass, chew bubblegum and shit, but they're all out of gum.
Mind, I totally didn't even notice, like, that this Spartan was a woman, and he'd have a problem with that. By the way, like, if you have an issue with female Spartans, then you're gonna have to take that up with, like, the original Halo games, because... Yeah, there were female Spartans in the Halo games, too. There were always female Spartans. They were never always men. That was never a thing in Halo lore. So I don't know what you wanted. I guess she has some pink in her hair. I guess that's a little SJWE, maybe.
So... Like, also, this is like a modern future society. Like, their paradigm of culture and how humans act when it comes to, like, gender norms or whatever the fuck are going to be so fundamentally different. Like, this is like a future society, you know, and all this shit, you know? So it's like, how and why would, you know, norms of today be the same, you know, for way in the fucking future where there's, like, aliens in the Covenant and all this other shit? You know, different alien races, you know, in a unified fucking, like, you know, alien species. Like, I mean, like, it's just like, you know, like, why would they have the same type of shit? Like, they're gonna have totally different ideas and culture and shit, so when it comes to things like, oh, they have, you know, pink hair, or they have, you know, short hair as women, and blah, 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 it's like, literally, yeah, and their society and culture is fundamentally different. They're in the fucking far future, you dipshit. I guess maybe not necessarily the far, far fucking future, but, you know, way off in the fucking future in terms of humanity. Like, no fucking shit, they're gonna be, like, totally different. Like, there's different, like, human societies and human planets that, you know, they're out there. So they're all gonna have different little cultures, you know, amongst, you know, the humans and shit. I mean, from what I understand, like, the original Spartans, you know, were there to quell different human insurrections. So sometimes, you know, even in their society, they had different ideas of culture and shit, but... You know, nonetheless, it wasn't shit like this. So it's like, huh? What? It's like, why does that shit matter?
There's a Warhawk, that's pretty cool to see. There's no doubt about that. I mean, that is cool to see. That is cool.
Yeah.
Was great. Once I show Cortana,
I like how he's just so easily impressed by all the cool badass shit, which I am too, to be honest. I mean, I'm not gonna dog on that too hard, but like, he's so upset. He doesn't like it strictly because I guess there's like Last Jedi vibes slash fucking, like, I don't know, like, I guess because there's not enough cool pew pew action scenes or something. Because it has diverse characters. Like, I hate these fucking Idpol, like, far right dipshits, dude. Their fucking culture war complaints are so dumb. If it's not like M&M's or Halo or fucking, you know, Minnie Mouse having a different, like a pantsuit or something, it's like another thing.
Hard time finding anything other than there were brown people on screen to complain about. Like, because what he wants to do is spend 20 straight minutes complaining about every shot where there's a brown person or a woman on screen, especially if they speak. But he can't do that on YouTube, so that's why this video is only 7 minutes and 15 seconds.
It starts to feel very strange.
Notice how he's nothing he can specifically say about this admittedly baller-looking trailer. Let's be real. Everyone on Twitter has been fucking loving it. Even the Halo fandom, besides the Cortana thing, seems to be pretty damn on board with this shit.
It looks cool. I mean, I'm not even into Halo, and I'm thinking it looks cool, so I don't see the problem.
Seem to have it down.
I mean, Cortana's, you know, that thing just literally seems like a nitpick as far as I'm concerned. Like, maybe, you know, if I end up becoming a Halo fan or was more invested into the lore about it and shit, maybe I would understand it or something, but, like, who cares? As far as I'm concerned, it's a nitpick.
Pelican landing around a bunch of UNSC soldiers with warthogs and shit around. That is what we see on screen right now. This is what you want to see from the trailer of a fucking Halo TV show, okay? This trailer hit the nail on the head pretty fucking hard. I don't think they could have done better, frankly. I don't think they could have done much better besides the Cortana being bluer. We'll have to see what happens when the show comes out, of course. I may eat my words then. The show may suck dick. So I doubt it'll be because there's brown people.
I honestly do hope the show doesn't suck dick. But yeah, if it does, it's because of shitty writing or bad executive decisions.
The media that suck because there's brown people in it. But, you know, maybe that'll happen one day. Maybe that'll happen. Yeah, we'll have to see what happens when the show comes out. But notice, he's got this very negative-seeming opinion of the trailer, with very little specifically to point out, and that is because the vast majority of what has influenced his opinion here, no doubt, is the existence of so many brown people in the trailer.
What is this? What is going on? What is?
He has nothing. Oh, he has nothing. It looks like the
So he's saying it's all badass, but now he's just bitching about it, and he just has nothing to say. I mean, it's like, how sad. Like, I mean, do you really have to be this nitpicky? It's like, well, hey, this looks cool and everything, and, you know, designs are awesome, but, you know, look, diversity. Oh, it's kind of strange and odd. I mean, look at it. It's like, dude, what a beta bitch, bro. What a cuck.
For a Halo TV show, and he's got nothing.
Oh my lord, man. I have no idea.
Like, the most that, like, I could make the
what a sad boy
for him better here, that, like, a human in the Covenant, on high charity, a human being in line with the Covenant, what? Really? How does this make sense?
Why would someone be a race traitor like that, huh?
I think they're doing exactly what The Last Jedi did. You know, if you go back to my trailer reactions to The Last Jedi, I was very, very excited about that.
Wait, could you describe what The Last Jedi did that you think this show is doing?
I mean, honestly, like, I mean, the show hasn't even come out yet. And also it's not even a proper analogy. So it's like, well, I don't even know why this dumb fuck keeps I actually know why. But it's just like, you know, like, this dumb fuck keeps referring to it because, you know, The Last Jedi had a bunch of woke diversity stuff into it, which isn't the reason why it sucked. It just had a bunch of horrible, shitty, fucking schizophrenic writing and fucking horrible, shitty-ass fucking executive decisions the entire way. Like, I mean, there was probably, like, and, you know, a few other bullshit in between. Like, it wasn't just that shit, and it really wasn't even that at all. But yeah, it keeps bringing it up because, he has nothing to say about it. Even though overall the trailer looks good, he even says that, but yet has to find something still to bitch about, so he has to, you know, like, equate it to The Last Jedi, which sucked. But
and visually they were able to pull a lot of people in, myself included, until you could actually see through it. And I feel like what this is doing.
It's not even out yet, you fucking dingbat.
Dude, and again, it's not like a visual masterpiece, because like I said, at times it feels really cool. Chief looks great, but then at other times it feels like a fan-made thing. But then you get moments like,
maybe he's like, I'm gonna try to be charitable to him here because I don't want to come off as too much of an asshole to this guy. We are just assholes on the internet at the end of the day, but like,
true.
Maybe he's referring to the fact that the show doesn't look canon And the reason for that is it's not. It's never meant to be canon. It's inspired by the canon of Halo. They're just going their own direction with it. Which is
Going their own way. Wouldn't he like that?
The issue with retelling
Because he's probably a MGTOW.
game stories in TV or movies is finding a way to convert how much of the story is conveyed through gameplay into the visual and the simply visual and audio medium. Like, it can be pretty tough. How long have you been a Halo fan? I mean, Halo 2 was a game that I got at a very young age and was a huge fan of, and really, really was one of my, like, I think might be one of my favorite games of all time, just because of how much nostalgia I have for it. I was able to play a good amount of Halo CE when I was younger, too, but I was never able to beat it. Past that, though, I was never able to play Halo 3, or 4 or 5, or Reach, or ODST, though I have just beaten Halo Infinite on PC off stream.
ODST is actually pretty cool. I played Halo 3 and ODST, it does look pretty good.
Memes. Though I do love Halo's aesthetic and Halo's story and lore, and I do plan to play through the games, probably off stream, because the Halo streams weren't pretty
Honestly, like, you know, I should definitely take some time to, you know, get into the Halo games, because I definitely do love the aesthetics, the lore, and the overall cool sci-fi-ness of it all. And I wonder, honestly, if Dune kind of had a role to play in kind of helping expand sci-fi like this a little bit. Because now Halo's kind of getting their little shot at, you know, expanding as a sci-fi franchise. You know, and, like there's Dune now, and, yeah, with their film, you know, for Frank Herbert's novels. I mean, you know, honestly, I feel like, you know, this could be, you know, the decade of seeing, you know, a new ripe opportunity of sci-fi. Which I would love to fucking see. I mean, starting with Dune and then maybe kind of starting to expand forth with that with, you know, things like, you know, this Halo series. If done right, if done good, I guess we've yet to see. But I guess this dumb fuck Geeks Plus Gamers thinks otherwise, even though we only have a trailer. I mean, if it blows, it blows, but, you know, when it comes to, you know, renaissance of genres, there's going to be plenty of different things that suck, but at the same time, there's a lot of gold mines and a lot of gems out in there. You know, so it's like this could be one of the gems, you know, that it helps kind of kickstart it off further, or it could just be one of the, you know, just shit fields that, you know, that we have to continue to traverse forth, you know, until we do find another little gem in the mines, you know, so... I don't know, I mean, it's whatever. I mean, it could either be a kick-ass show or it could suck. Trailer kind of implies it's going to look pretty kick-ass and awesome, but whatever. What do I know? I'm just brainwashed by the diversity establishment or something. Or whatever the fuck this dingbat thinks.
And Crappy Lula, thank you for the tier 1 give us a username. Spoiler you are.
Like, the Cortana stuff, and it's... The whole thing's just weird, man. That is a weird trailer. A lot of emphasis on diversity. People. Diversity is our strength, everyone. Diversity is our...
Emphasis on diversity is having a few brown people on screen.
I guess having a few Asians and brown people is all it takes to fucking make, like, this shit, like, horrible. I mean, there just literally wasn't, like, yeah, there was, like, some stuff that could be nitpicked about the trailer, I guess, sure. But overall, it was a pretty decent, overall, solid trailer. I mean, it wasn't amazing, it wasn't the best, it wasn't, like, outstandingly, like, fucking holy shit. But it definitely wasn't bad. It definitely wasn't, like, horrible or anything like that at all. It was solid. Like I said earlier, it's, like, above average. Like, what... Like, what dipshit gets so butthurt over over the fact that there's, like, oh my god, this is so dumb. I hate people like this. I mean, it just, it shows how, like, fucking childish this whole culture war shit really is, honestly. Like, through. Like, you can't get over the fact that there's, like, you know, I guess a few Asians, brown people, and black people that happen to be cast in it. In a world, in like a society of humanity that's like so far flung in, you know, at least in the future, in circumstance of like culture, you know, paradigms, and, you know, amongst other shit, that like these type of things that we all fucking crow about literally wouldn't matter at this point. I kind of want to see what these comments say. Very from Geeks and Gamers. Oh, the guy's name is Jamie. Jamie. From Life Lesson until he realized everyone from the circle hated film and changed his views. Never forgets to say still find a virtual video on it. Really? They're kidding? People shouldn't allow to grow beards. Fuck you. I do not condone that comment. Geeks and Gamers probably the kind of guy who gets excited. They lightened Johnson's skin tone between 2 and 3. All I've learned from these Geeks plus Gamers / quartering types that these people aren't actually fans of any media. They're just bottom feeders looking to manufacture average to eternally outraged, right? For clicks. Yeah, basically. Not script to repeat story 100% because cast is not 100%. You admit it, lol. What do you expect? oh my goodness, Diaz Mio. Gotta love it. Man, these sad culture war dumb shits really need to just like really find something better to cry and crow about. Like, they can, if they want to keep their culture war shit going on, fine. But, like, actually find something that, you know, would have some merit to potentially, you know, like, call out a little bit. You know, to where you could potentially get, like, a little bit of a wave, you know? Like, I don't know, like, use this thing called optics, you dumb shit. Why would I give some of these type of people advice? What am I doing? It's like you'd be like, oh, some Mars Corporation trying to go woke, huh? Well, what about, you know, some of your actions of slavery, huh? You little woke scolding piece of shit, you liberals, huh? Checkmate. It's like, at least there would be some merit. Instead of crowing about goddamn M&Ms, you can crow about how those M&Ms are wokeified for, you know, the production of, you know, the slave harvesting of coca and chocolate, so. I don't know, it's like, they can do something with it, but it's just so tiring and dumb and old. I grow weary. I grow weary of their culture war. I'm just wondering what Tucker Carlson is gonna crow about next. Guarantee he's probably got some whack-ass shit. Yeah. I think you're just a sweet little baby, aren't you? Just a sweet little baby. Sweet little baby, yeah. He's going down on that little ride. He's almost done with it. He's gonna chomp that thing down to oblivion. Split up. Time is up. Feeling a little hungry. It's about 10 minutes till 2-hour mark about. Billionaire mega donor gives 125 million to Dem super PAC for midterms.
Is a billionaire mega donor, and George Soros.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. I mean, not surprised.
Mega donor, and he's the you know, the target of a lot of right-wing conspiracy theories. Now, just because there are anti-Semitic conspiracy theories that are against him, and there are, doesn't mean that he doesn't have a massively negative influence in our politics as a billionaire mega donor, because he does have that. So, my point.
Yeah, if only the people on the right actually, you know, had something, to contextually to crow against these fucking people, but they have to, freak out because George Soros happens to be Jewish or some shit. It's just like, no. It's the fact that he's an owner class billionaire rich fuck that has negative influence, on our establishment because he owns part of it. But he's not the only one. There's plenty of other rich fucks, similar to him. Like, what, you think, like, Bezos, Elon Musk, and, people like him are any different? Because they're pretty much the same.
With partisan hack games.
Even more so.
Where it's like, because you criticize George Soros, like, you're with the Republicans.
Like, I find it funny how there's, like, conspiracies about people like Soros and shit, but it's like, some of these people also sent Elon Musk and shit, and it's like, he's literally more richer than fucking Soros. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, the dude is a little bit more of a richer cocksucker than fucking George Soros is somehow, like, good in comparison to the not as rich fucking billionaire cocksucker. Okay.
That's garbage. That's total garbage. I'm against George Soros' money in politics, and I'm against the Koch brothers' money in politics. So I guess there's one Koch left, right? I don't know. One of them died. Anyway, so let's take a look at this article here from Politico. Soros pours $125 million into Super PAC ahead of midterms. The mammoth donation is fueling investment in Democratic political groups and races from Senate to Secretary of State around the country.
Go figure.
$125 million.
Gotta bribe him early.
So the group is ironically called Democracy PAC.
Oh my god. Give me a break. I hate these fucking smug, pandery ass fucking names and shit that they use to try to fucking coerce people into thinking that they're actually like virtuous, good fucking organizations trying to enact proper good change and shit. Ugh.
Participate in kleptocracy or oligarchy and then call the PAC Democracy PAC. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. You should call it Oligarchy PAC or Kleptocracy PAC. Now, this has served as George Soros' campaign spending vehicle since 2019. He already channeled more than $80 million to other Democratic groups and candidates during the 2020 election cycle. This investment, 9-figure investment from Soros, is puts him in, I think, the top 10 of political contributors. Very few people obviously spend that much money on this kind of stuff. And their main causes, according to them, Soros and his son, who's going to run this, they want to support, quote, pro-democracy causes and candidates regardless of political party. Huh?
Huh? They're doing this to a Democratic super PAC, but yet they're going to try to prop up even Republicans,
Quote, strengthening the infrastructure of American democracy, voting rights, and civic participation, civil rights and liberties, and the rule of law.
By, co-opting more and more of the fucking paradigm to the owner class and to the corporations. Okay. Got it.
I think the main thing. January 6th is their big issue. You know what this tells me? I think they're also going to try to support, like, Kinzinger and Cheney, Liz Cheney.
Yep.
Because they say, look, they're trying to make clear this isn't partisan. So we're going to go for people who fit our grand scheme ideal here, which is January 6th bad. And by the way, agreed, January 6th really bad.
Yeah.
But is that enough? Is that enough?
No.
As long as you're against January 6th, then you're good. Well, Liz Cheney has a voting record that's like probably over 90% with Donald Trump and with the far right. Because she's against January 6th, that means what? You're going to give her some of this money? Or
yeah.
Kinzinger, for example, you're going to give him some of this money?
Yeah, basically. That's pretty much about it. It sounds like it. Like, oh my god. I mean, that's why, when it comes to these fucking, rich cocksucking fucking billionaires and shit, this is what they, they support both sides on this type of shit. They have a vested interest on this type of stuff. Hey, what are you doing? I mean, when it comes to, like, oh, George Soros, the Democratic boogeyman, it's like, no, not really. He's just a boogeyman, amongst thousands, at least, hundreds of other, at least more accurately, a few dozen other boogeymen that are, you know, just, you know, part of the owner class and the corporate class that influence the entire fucking system. Like, there's nothing inherently unique about the fucker. Like, he's just another one of many others that, you know, do this type of shit. Like, you know, you got the last Koch brother, the Wilkes brothers, Soros, Musk and Bezos. Like, all these other fucking, you know, pieces of shit do the same thing. Ain't no different. I mean, all in all, to like, I mean, all it takes is, you know, just supporting basically, you know, just the basic status quo and shit, and you're pretty much, you know, welcome right into the fucking club. As long as you're willing to, you know, fall in line with their type of ideas, just even ever so slightly. Took out. Little baby. You don't really got much food in that little food bowl there anymore. In fact, you got none at all. Might need to refill that there for you, because I'm feeling a little hungry too. Anyway. Smell this last bowl out. Kind of good for the rest of this lovely little evening. Nice. Yeah. Anyway. Peace out. And of course,